Participation is really important. You can't build an ecosystem without participation, and you can't build something of value. A lot of people will end up with a Spark token that maybe are only there to take the value from it, rather than to build the ecosystem, rather than to use it, rather than participate.
So you either earn money or you don't.
Here to participate in the network and benefit it, and it benefits you. You're not here just to get a handout because you held XRP and you're this, a prima donna investor who's just going to, freeload and dump on the rest of the community because you're an XRP holder. No, this is a new network. You're here to participate. People got to get used to that. It's going to be a significant amount more if you just literally took your tokens, compounded them from the airdrop, and just did the right thing every time at no risk. Have the incentives all aligned with each other with the network. Right now, we don't have that. So we need to have a split. And this is exactly what this proposal is for and behind it, because otherwise it's going to harm the network and it's going to harm everybody who is participating. For the last 18 months to a year, we have spent preparing for the Flare network while others have done nothing. And now they want to come in here and complain. Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh.
Are structured such as to build the ecosystem as quickly and as decentralized manner as possible, such that the payouts are very much higher at the beginning than later on.
Why? Since day one, since the very beginning, Flare has said you'll be massively rewarded for early participation, because it's the only way to kickstart a network and bootstrap it.
Literally going to be earning Flare from those who do not participate. The amount of profit that you could make by accumulating early, staggering.
If you participate, you get rewards, and those rewards essentially come at the expense of people that don't participate.
A FLR is like a fourth generation token, and it has these superpowers to it that allow it to do things that other native L1 tokens can't do. So, for example, is the ability to earn native yield by delegating to the FTSO and simultaneously being able to utilize the FLR token as collateral and in other dApps, as well as participate in governance, and as well as, if the proposal goes through, earning the distribution monthly. That is a very powerful 4 different things right there. Now, on top of that, you could even use the yield that you earn from the FTSO or the distribution possibly to fund and crowdfund projects coming into the ecosystem. Now, it's typical staking. You stake and that's it. There's nothing else. Sometimes you could have governance rights, but you never are able to utilize the asset and also stake. The only way to do that is doing it through a derivative, which is not the true asset. So that's where Flare separates. You have the actual FLR in your custody.
Important for the general population cash flow from the Flare network. You're not locking it up. You're just delegating the votes. So any exchange should really be able to implement over time an ability for you to delegate your votes to either them as a data provider or various other data providers, so that you can earn that Oracle rewards, which, like I said, is somewhat analogous to staking, but without the risk of slashing. I hope that's clear.
Yes, that's clear. That's excellent that us as holders of Spark are going to be able to earn rewards and then also be able to have the utility of the Spark token and use it within the ecosystem.
Remember, Flare is going to launch with a fully decentralized consensus after observation period. Check 1. A broad, global-wide token distribution to millions of accounts, hundreds of exchanges. And third, with a DAO embedded algorithmic governance where the community will govern the network. And when I say community, the FLR holders. The distribution is up for proposal.
Thing that's going to happen on Flare is there's going to be a governance that changes the structure of how the token is distributed. I believe that is a particularly good governance vote because it allows essentially anyone to partake in Flare to participate and for them to become essentially, I guess, vested in Flare. So the token under the governance vote, if the governance vote passes, would be essentially distributed over 36 months to those people that hold the token and delegated to an oracle. So this is our way of essentially decentralizing the token ownership by allowing essentially participation from anyone in the market. We think that's a good way to distribute a token, to have a broad distribution. So that's the first element of what will be happening on Flare. I expect that proposal to pass.
If you think about how tokens are distributed, they're the hardest thing in all of crypto to distribute. And we look back at distribution methods. We have Compound, Uniswap, they all airdropped their tokens. So if you weren't having a public sale or selling to VCs, you had to find a way to distribute it. And most of the time, you distribute it to people who are likely to participate. So this proposal falls right in line with that. And it also gives the XRP holders the first initial 15%. But now you have to work to get the rest of it, just like any distribution should. You know, people would come into the Flare and say, oh, wait, they're getting this for 3 years straight and I can't access any of it. We would isolate ourselves. I mean, that would be going against decentralization and distribution. So we'll have a wider variety. And the key here is to spread out. So there's no whales. We should not have any major whales that are trying to manipulate. The whales that we do have are going to want to participate because there's roles for them to play. It's not just a big spec playground, and they're going to be just manipulating the price on different exchanges.
If you sell the airdrop and you don't do anything else with it and the proposal passes, you're not getting any more. You have to engage in the network and participate. That has never changed. They've said that since day one, that you're going to have to engage with the network and participate. This is what decentralized networks are. This is what communities are. If you're not intending to do that, then you're not part of the community. And none will go to the exchanges then. There will be no monthly airdrops. There's no more 85% claim. It's the initial claim. That's it. If you want the rest, you're going to have to participate. And when I say participate, it's literally opening a wallet and delegating a vote. You don't even have to give up custody of your asset. So literally my 7-year-old nephew could do it. So there's no excuse there. Anyone who's done it on Songbird, there's 60% participation right there already. I would expect it to eventually be higher on Flare because there's no risk. Some exchanges will offer it, was being able to earn the FLR from vote power, and then simultaneously being able to use that is as collateral. So with all these products come the same thing. You're simultaneously able to use FLR in a DApp in any of these products and delegate to the FTSO to earn rewards. Now with this distribution, you're also going to be able to earn the distribution monthly. So this is like unbelievable amounts of rewards. And the reason why earning so much is to build up for it to be used as collateral. It needs to be there. So we need the asset to be there as collateral. And it will also come with governance votes. Now, governance rights and influence in the network, the market hasn't truly been able to figure out how to value that yet. But over time, I guarantee you, it's like an ownership stake in the network. Basically have programmable money and extendable money. And this is a whole new asset class. And when we say asset class, it's a protocol. It's a network. It's not just the token. There's an over focus on the token and the token price in spec trading. Everything Flare is trying to do is trying to remove that aspect of just spec trading. It'll always be there. There'll always be speculation. But by distributing through the network, you remove that aspect tremendously and have the focus being on those who are going to participate. And those who don't like that, obviously don't want to participate and they don't belong here. It's your network. You either participate or you don't. If you want to complain, you complain to the rest of the community. The community is going to be the ones who are voting. So that's going to weed out those who don't, and it will transfer value into the hands to those who are participating. And they will then have to keep up. So if you want to sell 20%, 10% every month, that's fine, but you're going to lose a share in the network a little more each month. Because one, others are going to keep earning, and two, there'll be others who will come into the network. So Flare is not trying to be an Ethereum killer. It's connecting everything. And the utility is phenomenal. I guess is the least I could say out the gate, because you have this ability to earn natively. You don't give up opportunity costs. So for example, in staking, like in many networks, you have to stake and then you can't use the asset. Yes, there is staking derivatives, but that's a derivative. With Flare, it's WFLR. You literally just wrap it, smart contract, gets the vote power contract on it. You delegate to the FTSO. Every single dApp should offer the ability to either delegate to your own FTSO that you choose or to theirs. If they do not offer it, then they should be offering it soon, because there's no excuse. It's unacceptable if they do not offer the FTSO. It should be the number one first priority of every single dApp. So I think it's important that we make sure the dApps know that launch. Now, it's still early days on Songbird, so some haven't yet. But in the future, there's no excuse. There's going to be hundreds of dApps. Some are going to be just on Flare. Some are going to be cross-chain dApps building with Flare. This is why our strapline has changed to connect everything. So this is the delay, why people haven't got their token airdrop, because they're building something much bigger and a bigger vision. I've taken on more engineers. A core engineering team, 7 to 8 PhDs. This is being built for a long-term future. Now, we are grateful, we should be grateful, they're able to get the airdrop to be able to participate early. Those who want to sell and want out, or who think they're good enough to swing trade, go for it. Good luck. I'd rather stick with the safe bet, because you're going to be able to earn and participate at very low risk. There's no risk delegating to the FTSO. You could literally hold your assets.
And then, of course, for us, we're always working on how to make Flare better. We have an endless sort of bank of things that we'll be working on. I think I'm most excited about getting the state connector launched on Flare that use state from other chains and use those either directly on Flare to do something or use those with other blockchains for interoperability. So one of the biggest grants that we will be essentially vesting on a development team will be over the formulation and execution of a generic data relay service using Flare. So this is quite an interesting proposition, whereby someone could come along and use the state connector to essentially slash relay nodes that propagate information between different chains, because this makes essentially a data relay service representable broadly as a smart contract on Flare. And that kind of encapsulates the exact thing that we've built Flare for, which is to give you access to all this data such that all you need to do to build something complex is to build a smart contract on Flare.
That's impressive and so exciting at the same time.
I've been researching Flare since the day it came out. We're almost 2 years now, over 2 years since the white paper came out. And we are running a node on Songbird right now. We're live, and we're also live with a observation node on Flare to help support the networks. So we are getting close to launch, but we're not quite there yet. But technically, decentralization has been achieved and in beta mode. So when you're launching a network at this scale with this technology that's novel, with a new consensus, so even though using avalanches, they're modifying it and using reward rate and vote power in place of it instead of stake. And that's key. And then you're building a whole stake connector system that's going to connect all the different networks together. It's not just a tagline, connect everything. And I think that gets thrown around a lot in the industry. They literally are connecting everything. And that's where that partnership with Google Cloud is going to be very big. Flare is a data provisioning network in itself. And then you're building a whole stake connector system that's going to connect all the different networks together. That's not just a tagline, connect everything. And I think that gets thrown around a lot in the industry. They literally are connecting everything. And that's where that partnership with Google Cloud is going to be very big. So Into the Block is the next one, which is a data intelligence company. Very interesting that they are the fourth one. So initially, it was only supposed to be 3 validators, 3 infrastructure providers running 4 validators each. Now it's 4. So one of those was, I think it was Into the Block was added because they are intelligence. They have all the data analytics on DeFi and on-chain analysis. They basically, these are becoming more and more prevalent, we're going to see. And what is Flare? Flare is a data provisioning network in itself. So the head of engineering at Flare, Josh Edwards, said, "It's been an absolutely awesome working with each of our validator partners on this one. They are all at the forefront of blockchain infrastructure technology and are doing a fantastic job." Fire emojis. So this is good to hear from Flare's engineers that they're feel that way, because once Flare's done building the network and the blockchain, they're handing it over. Like, it just hands over to the whole network that runs it. The nodes, the validators, it runs itself. But they have this is the final chance to put everything in place and make sure everything's good to go. Most networks, almost every network that has launched, has never launched decentralized. Flare is going to literally launch decentralized. That's unheard of, unprecedented. I still don't understand how the community does not see that as massive. And second, we're going to have an on-chain governance.
Into those 4 pillars of bridging.
Yes.
Composability and relay, Web 2 to Web 3 composability, and then constellation of multi-chains.
Yes.
This has been a massive engineering project for us to expand that use. And so it has taken us longer. It's also meant we've had to do a lot more audits, and audits take a very long time to schedule.
FLR's predominant use case early on, which is going to be as collateral for F assets. So every F asset that is minted, every dollar worth of value that's minted in FXRP, FBTC, 2.5 times that in FLR value is going to be locked up. So with all those rewards that are coming out from the FTSO, from the distribution, they're going to be utilized for collateral. So this is going to counteract that inflationary pressures. And this is the reason why the early participants are going to be able to be massively rewarded, because once the F asset system kicks on, it's going to need FLR as collateral. And that is a core use case. When Flare first started out, back before the snapshot, this was all they were building, was the F asset system. Now they've added multiple products after this. So the irony here is going to be those who do receive FLR that sell and think that they got their profits in a couple of months. They'll be back minting FXRP. And the irony here will be those that have accumulated the rewards and are able to put up FLR as collateral will be earning the XRP in fees from those who are minting FXRP. So this is why, since day one, since the very beginning, Flare has said you'll be massively rewarded for early participation, because it's the only way to kickstart a network. It's your network. You either participate or you don't. If you want to complain, you complain to the rest of the community. The community is going to be the ones who are voting. So that's going to weed out those who don't, and it will transfer value into the hands to those who are participating.
And the numbers are honestly staggering. So the amount of profit that you could make if Flare is successful by accumulating early based on those who do not participate. So you are literally going to be earning Flare from those who do not participate.
For the last 18 months to a year, we have spent preparing for the Flare network while others have done nothing. And now they want to come in here and complain?
The table is being set for explosive growth, explosive adoption, interoperability from groundbreaking new technologies and financial products, as well as liquidity services that were unimaginable just a few years ago.
Participation is really important. You can't build an ecosystem without participation. A lot of people will end up with a Spark token that maybe are only there to take the value from it, rather than to build the ecosystem, rather than to use it, rather than participate.
So you either earn money or you don't.